Okay, as I said, we'll start with the fourth topic that is related to display devices, their characteristics, and mostly the compare LED, LCD monitor, how they work, even the CRT monitors, their characteristics. Then about printers and scanners. So these are the topics related to this. So the very first, I'll start with the VGA. You already know that is called as a video graphics array. This is a socket which is normally present at the back end, and from this actually video signal goes to your monitor. So let's see, this is, if you see, this is 15 pin monitor, 15 pin socket, and especially though there are 15 pins, useful pins are only 6 pins as such. It is listed here also. First one is very RGB. First one is red, second one is green, and third one is blue. In fact, whatever the signal that is coming out of this VGA, it is purely an analog signal. This analog signal carried through this cable, maybe of one 1.5 or 2 meter cable, and that cable goes to actually from these sockets to monitor, and actually it carries your RGB signals. Then another two signals, more important signals, is vertical synchronizing signal that is on pin number 14, and a horizontal synchronizing signal that is on pin number 13. And the remaining pin, that is 6, 7, 8, and 5. These all the pins are grounded pins: 5, 10, 6, 7, and 8. You'll find that for every signal, that is red signal, one is positive signal, and that is it is close with the ground. Similarly, green signal also and blue signal also. So this is actually a typical structure or construction of any VGA cable. And in fact, most of the monitors or most of the devices nowadays connected with VGA. And now instead of now VGA is also getting slowly getting phased out. And instead of VGA, as you have experienced, HDMI cable is becoming more popular because HDMI carries a digital data, and as against to this, VGA carries analog data. Let us say now we'll see some of the terms related to display devices, and then we'll go for working of CRT, which you already know, and then we'll see the block diagram of CRT or block diagram of any typical monitor, how this color monitor works. Let us say very first topic, that is related to resolution. To understand the resolution, I think you must know the what is meant by pixel. Now you are very familiar with the pixel because as you are using a camera, mobile camera, and you are normally say what is the resolution of your camera, and you always terms in terms of pixels. Then what exactly pixel is? Pixel is the smallest addressable element of a display device. This is very similar to like what we say, what is the definition of byte? Byte is the smallest addressable memory element. On similar line, this is the smallest addressable element of this level. When I say addressable, I mean here you can literally on a screen, you can illuminate one pixel or you can make one pixel off. That means every pixel has intensity as well as color. Now, if you want to give a color to any pixel, normally each pixel requires the 4 bytes. Out of these 4 bytes, 3 bytes are used for RGB. As you know, 1 byte is equal to 8 bits, and within 8 bits, you can have 256 combinations. With 256 combination of R, 256 combination of G, and 256 combination of V, it is possible that millions of colors can be generated. And if you give some fixed signal or digital data in term, normally hex data is given, 2 hex code for R, 2 hex code for G, and 2 hex code for B. And if you take this 6 hex code, this hex code will represent one color out of the million colors. Similarly, the colors intensity can be changed by using 1 byte, that is the fourth byte. Where if it is all 00, that means this will represent the black level. And if all the bits of that 1 byte is equal to 1, then it will represent the pure white color. So this way it is possible that each pixel can be addressed. I mean, it can be controlled. Its intensity or its color on monitor can be controlled. And that is why we say pixel is the smallest addressable element of a display device. Then what is exactly resolution? Resolution, it is number of potential pixel monitor capable of display. Normally resolution is given in terms of total horizontal pixels multiplied by total vertical pixels. That means whenever I say horizontal pixels, I mean the number of pixels in one horizontal line. Normally, when I say the resolution of VGA, let us say when VGA was developed, VGA resolution was somewhat about 640 by 480 resolution. When we say 640, I mean there will be 640 pixels along one row of a screen, and there will be 480 pixels on a vertical line. So this is normally given as 640 by 480. Let's see now what are the different resolutions. Now, as we say, video cards capable of giving different resolution. Right from 1981, the color graphics adapter was developed. Earlier to color graphics adapter, monochrome graphics adapter was there, which is capable of only two colors, black and white or a gray color. But later on, this CGA is capable of giving 16 colors and giving resolution of 640 by 200. Then this is somewhat enhanced. That is why it is called an enhanced graphic adapter, and it was capable of giving 64 colors. That means number of colors were increased against their resolution of 640 into 350. Then 1987, this VGA came into picture. Still, we are using VGA in most of the monitors, but VGA is now capable of giving higher resolutions also. Earlier, it was giving only 640 by 480 resolution. Now, this 640 by 480 for today's standards of video signals and multimedia or other related, it is very low, and hence still there are some monitors in the market which works on VGA and gives you the resolution of 640 into 480, capable of giving almost 2,62,144 colors. That means number of colors can produce from VGA is very large. Then after this VGA, this extended graphics array was developed, that is XGA. It has got a very good resolution, that is 1024 by 768. This is the normally again used 1024 768 is almost 10 years. It was a very useful display devices of having this resolution. Then the still larger resolution was developed, and that was called as a Super XGA, that is giving resolution of 1284 into 1024 pixels. That means horizontal pixels are 1280 and vertical pixels are 1024. Then after this Super XGA, then another say is given, that is called as the Ultra XGA, that is 1600 by 1200 resolution. That is the development in XGA. So that if you see the now even this VGA XGA, it is being phased out because of, I will say, HDMI resolutions. So if you see this type of, again this is giving you the size of your capable of any screen, what can be number of horizontal pixels and vertical pixels. As if you go online in here, 640 by 480 resolution, that will give capable of only, as I said, VGA. Then 800 by 600, it will give Super VGA. But here you will find the number of resolution. Now then went to 1600 by 900. Then comes whatever be the blue line, that is the blue picture that is shown with the size, that is 1920 onto 1080. Now you are know this particular, this is HD resolution. This is called as a high density resolution, and which is capable of giving a very good picture with aspect ratio of 16:9. We'll go later on to this aspect ratio. But similarly, if you want to still have a further better picture of the quality, you can still go vertically, number of pixels are still increased, that is 1920 into 1200. Then later on, two more enhancement in there in the XGA, that is 2560 into 1440 and 2560 into 1600. If you see, the upper limit for any XGA resolution is 2560 into 1600. Now, if you see the today's TVs or HD TV, or normally you say now it is a 4K TV. 4K TV, that means it has got a double the HD resolution. As I said, HD resolution is 1920 into 1080. If you multiply it by this resolution by 2, so 1920 into 1080 is really a HD resolution. But now demands are there, and in consumer market, if you see TVs or even monitors, these are coming with higher and higher resolution. But higher the resolution, better is the quality of the picture. Obviously, the video processing needs to be more, and the RAM requirement, video RAM requirements are more. But it is now, it is now when we are talking about the 4K TV, or that is 4K resolution, that is giving you 3840 into 2160. In market now 8K, even 10K resolutions are also available. What I mean here in the resolution, you should understand what is exactly resolution. Actually, resolution governs the quality of the picture. So number of horizontal pixels multiplied by number of vertical pixels that can a display device capable of, that will be called as an resolution. So this is the one typical term that is normally used. See here in this particular slide, you will find standard monitor is a normally earlier monitor. It is having a aspect ratio of 4:3. That is why their standard size were 4:3. Then their widescreen monitors were developed. Their size is HD size is 16:9. But there are certain monitors in the market available which is 16:10. Even you will find there are some monitors which has got the width as something like 22:9. That means very wide monitors are there which are still capable of. And then below this particular figure, you will be giving you various HD as far as National Television Subcommittee's NTSC standards are concerned, or what are the wide side of this, then what are the monitors that are available with the different pixels, and then what are the TV that is capable of. Nowadays, there is a little distinction between monitors and TV, but still every monitor has got the different proposition. TV has got certain different proposition. Later on, we'll compare what is exactly the difference between monitor and TV, because TV is complete. TV's function is totally different and monitor function is totally different. But because of the compatibility, a user can use monitor as a TV or a TV as a monitor nowadays, because of just compatibility of the connecting sockets. That is, it both has got VGA socket, HDMI socket, or DVI socket, and because of this, they are capable of displaying uh, the picture irrespective of the what it is meant for. So let us see, this is all about what I discussed about the resolution. Then, as I said, aspect ratio. So aspect ratio is the ratio of the width of the width to the height of the display. As you see, most of the times you used to TVs as used to have a 4:3 aspect ratio. That means horizontally it is 4 times wide and vertically it is 3 times. But later on, after study of this eye and eye effects and their maybe sensitivity of the eye, and what are the stress that could be put onto your eyes. Then the experimental says that instead of 4:3, probably 16:9 will give the most of the coverage of the pictures, as well as it will give very less problems to your eyes. That is movement of iris and bubbles and all this. So this will have minimum stress onto your eyes. And that is why you will find that nowadays most of the laptops or even TVs or even desktops, these are our or monitors, these are coming with the width of 16 as vertically height is 9. That is 16.16 as to 9. This aspect ratio is almost becoming the standard. But apart from these two standards, 4:3 and 16:9, there are some other standards too, that is for 5:4, 16:10, and 22:9. So this is all related to your the definition, as you already know, aspect ratio. I believe you have studied uh, uh, communication. Even you came out with the communication too, and communication too probably you have studied the TV, working of TV, transmitter, receiver, etc. And the functioning of monitor is very similar to your TV. That I'll explain you at the end of this after considering all the typical uh, what I'll say definitions or characteristics. If you know the meaning of these particular words, probably you will be in a better position to select your monitor or understand the various specifications of the monitor. Just to understand specification, we'll try to learn the various terms related to this. The next term is related to viewing angle. So obviously viewing angle means how much, in what angle you can see a better picture. If you have a LCD TV, you might have experience. If you try to see the LCD monitor's picture from say angle which is something greater than what we say uh, from a corner of a picture or a corner of a screen, then you will find that your screen will become disappear, dimmer or somewhat blurrish. Then to overcome this particular problem, then these manufacturers had devised a one definition that is called as a viewing angle. And if they normally propose to say that our viewing angle is greater than 120 to 170 degrees, it is desirable that you should have a larger and larger viewing angle so that even if you see a picture from a corner of a display, you should able to see a sharp and better picture. This is normally not happens with the LCD, but if you go for LED TVs, then you will find that if you see the picture quality of it is very good quality. It is doesn't blurish from angle. In other words, we can say that this particular monitor has got a very good viewing angle, and that is why in market now LED is becoming more popular because its clarity is very good. Even viewing angles are very good. Now, if you want to increase the viewing angle, you will also find there are curved TVs are coming into the market. Meanwhile, somewhere 10 years back, though Sony has popularized this particular design of a TV, which was a curved TV, and because of this curved TV, this problem was slightly that was reduced. That means it was possible even from any angle. If you see, most of the times you will find a better picture instead of slanted picture or some compressed picture, that will get a very clear picture. That is the advantage of viewing angle. So this is from viewing angle you can also see that how people can see towards the screen. And that is why if you wanted to have a better vision, even if you are sitting at the corner and if you are looking towards the display devices, if a viewing angle is greater than 160, then it could be a better device, or it can be most of the people sitting in front of the display devices, even their position is at the corner place, still they will be able to see a better picture. And that gives you the idea what is called as a viewing angle. Then another fact is that you understand what is the brightness and luminance. Now, whenever we talk about the luminance, we always say it is related to colored signals. And when you say brightness, it is normally related to intensity or brightness of the pictures. So you have a brightness control as well as luminance control. Whenever you are controlling the luminance, at that time you are adjusting the RGB values. Whenever you are going for brightness, you are increasing the intensity of white color or white or black content in the picture or background of this. So that is what we call as a brightness and luminance control. So this is the measurement of the light. This is the measurement of amount of light the monitor produces. Normally, it is given in the nits or candelas per square meter. Our expected brightness rating should be 250 to 300 per CD candela per meter square. And for if you want to have a better picture or just for movies or there, you need to have very brighter luminance, and this rating required is almost 500 CD per mm square. Now you'll find that because of HD and UK TV, you'll find far better brightness and luminance controls are being there when you compared with the old type of monitors. So next is contrast ratio. The contrast ratio is also a significant figure which also determines the quality of the picture. Whenever you say contrast ratio rates, what is contrast ratio? Contrast ratio rates the degree of difference of a monitor's ability to produce bright whites as well as dark blacks. That means how a display device displays a very bright or very dark colors. If he is able to distinguish between very bright and very black, then how much is that is generally expressed as the ratio. Normally 500 to 1 is the acceptable ratio for most of the brightness and contrast figures. But nowadays a TV which are coming in the market, they are capable of producing a contrast ratio as high as 1000 as to 1. That means these are distinguishing the black colors from white colors very sharply. This is contrast ratio. Then what is the response rate? The response rate indicates how fast the monitor pixels can change the colors. Obviously now you might have experienced when you are using if you are using a laptop or desktop, and if you are playing certain multimedia movie or maybe 3D movie or a normal HD movie, and if you connect it to the VGA or if you connect it to the, let us say, through HDMI cable, you really find the quality of the picture. That means there will be a blurring or mixing of the picture, that or a slowness of the picture, or one picture is getting overlap on the one frame is getting overlap on the another frame. it is possible if there is a response rate is low. Then the response rate, that means number of frames can be shown to per second. If number of frames shown to you per second is increased, then obviously flicker will be reduced. If a flicker is reduced, normally you will have a very clear pictures between the frames. That means what is the possibility of creating a ghosting effect that will almost remove, and you will not have any trial remain of any earlier frame than the next frame, because this is the what we call obviously for response rate you have to have a scanning frequency very high. I mean, here instead of 16 frames per second you may go for 120 frames, or even refresh rates are going to 244 frames per second. Nowadays it is possible to have a very flicker free uh, vision of a camera. Now another important features of today's monitor is adjustability. Unlike CRT monitors, LCD monitors have much more flexibility for positioning the screen and way you want to. The way you want, you can position your LCD monitor, because it has got a both way. Vertical side it can rotate, horizontally side it can rotate. It has got a good stand. That on that particular stand you can swell it, you can tilt it up and down. You can even rotate from landscape, or you can take a from landscape, or you with this it is possible you can also have an portrait mode possible. Today's monitors are lightweight, thin. Most monitors have built-in brackets for all and arm mounting. That means you can position your monitors the way you like, the vision you wanted to have, accordingly you can put it. And there are certain additional features. Some monitors have other conveniences such as integrated speakers are almost available with this. Then built-in universal serial bus or USB ports are available. Then anti-theft locks are there. So that means these are the some of the very good features that your monitors are coming with. Then another definition related to this is dot pitch. This dot pitch or dots is normally used for what we call as printers or any images. The images, like pixels, dot are again the smallest elements of that particular image. So here, when we say definition of a dots, the shortest distance between the two dots of the same color on the monitor. As you know, if you have a colored monitor, mostly color monitors, if are these of cathode ray type monitors, then you will have to use three dots of the phosphor color dots. That means we call RGB dots. Then what is the smallest distance between two similar type of colors, that will be called as dots. This is measured in millimeters. The lower the distance, obviously sharper is the image. So most of the time this distance is considered to be 0.28 mm is considered to be average, and which will give a very good quality of the picture. Then larger the monitor, smaller is the dot pitch you need. That means if you have a very big size monitor, then the dot pitch should be very small. So ultimately there will be more number of phosphor dots per area. So then only you can have a better resolution of this. Now coming to this particular part, I believe you know this scanning, but still I'll just do as a part of this. I'll just fastly go what is exactly scanning. So here you know, because of the scanning only any picture is possible to show onto your screen, and your show screen is divided into number of horizontal lines and vertical lines. That will also depend upon your whether you are using PAL standard or NTSC standards. Depending upon this number of horizontal lines and vertical lines differ, but basic principle of scanning remains the same. That means one beam generated, this is accelerated horizontally, then it retrace takes place. Again, this is scanned horizontally, and you know that there is a composite video signal. And in this composite video signal, actually, if you take CCRB standard, then 52 microseconds you will have a video signal. Remaining 12 seconds you will have certain black retrace period. And then you will have certain sync signals, vertical sync signal, horizontal sync signals. And just to line up your lines perfectly, you also, and just to control your illumination, you can also have back porch as well as front porch signal. These are also video synchronizing signals. Then similarly, this just to scan this horizontally and vertically. You also know that there is a sawtooth waveform. This works, horizontal oscillator works at 15625 as against to vertical oscillator which work at a normal your supply frequency, that is 50 hertz. So this is what we call as the uh, process of scanning. That means scan one by one line, but this happens at a very fast rate. That means you know that almost each picture is divided into odd and even fields, and odd and even fields are almost shown 25 times per second. And if it is instead of showing one picture and then closing, then I'm gonna picture, the experience shows that if you instead of going for scanning, if you go for interlace scanning, then the quality of the picture is improved, and that is why you will find there is certain complexity in vertical and horizontal synchronizing pulses when you have when entire picture is divided into odd fields and even fields. But the as we are working at a very high frequency, and it is possible to control even a very small amount of frequency, or I mean small time period, it is possible to control. And that is why without affecting or without breaking synchronization continuously, this scanning goes on without affecting your quality of the picture or display of the picture. So this is what we call as what is interlace scanning and non-interlace scanning. Non-interlace scanning normally not preferred, but nowadays even some of the monitors uses non-interlace scanning because the principle of showing a picture is entirely different than what is principle of what we call as in TV. Displaying a picture on TV and displaying a picture on monitor, it is entirely different because displaying a picture on a monitor is a local aspect. Locally you are generating this data and you are giving onto monitor, but in TV you are actually transmitting the signals from broadcast end, and from broadcast end you are receiving on your TV. So uh, whatever be the rules, I mean here interlace scanning has to be followed based on your whether you have NTSC standard or maybe your PAL standards. Okay, or even you can also have a French standard that is called as the SICAM standard. So these are the three from earlier days. These standards are going on, and based on this, most of the devices still are using when we come to consumer market or television industry. Then in that case, but nowadays again there are different standards for monitors and TVs that are later I'll discuss on these standards on monitors. Let's go for scanning an image. If you are scanning, if anything you want to show on this, that you probably you know that anything, if you see black and white monitor, you will find there will be 25 rows and 80 columns are there, and out of this 25 rows, whatever now you have worked on a C programming, right? Whenever you are working on a C programming, and if you are using a DOS based type display, that is the character display, then in that case you on screen you can have 80 characters in one line, as well as there can be a 24 characters on a vertical line. That is why we say this is the text type display, where one text is capable of displaying one character, and when one character is to be displayed, then at that time automatically that character is refreshed, certain portion is highlighted and certain portion is not being shown down so based on, now let us see here, if you wanted to show a character E, how it will be displayed, then here in numbers of certain lines there will not be picture will be that pixel will not be highlighted, but required portion that pixel will be highlighted. So this way actually it controls the individual characters of any characters to be displayed. Then probably this picture will give you the better idea what is called as the interlace scanning. So you are already familiar with this. In scanning, either depend a 25 frame. If you have an NTSC standard, there can be 30 frames per second. If you talk about CCRB standard or PAL standard, then that will be 25 frames per second. So here that you will find here every frames is divided into odd frames and even frames. Now if you see odd frames, only odd lines will be scanned. In even frames, even lines will be scanned. Then because of, if you combine both the pictures of interlace scanning, when both the fields are completed, probably you will get this type of picture. Then the question comes, why you have a odd lines and even lines? As you are are probably aware that your eye is very sensitive. If it's sensitive to your eye is relatively, I will say, insensitive to the colors because of the persistence of vision. Even it is possible that if some pictures is forced onto your eye continuously, you will find that there is a continuity of the picture, and that particular principle is used. And because of using your odd line, odd frames and even frames, and using interlace scanning, you'll find that there will be a less flicker. Flicker, I mean, this is the something annoying effect to your eye. Okay, that is if this flicker is reduced, then I will have a pleasant vision, and that is the efforts, and we go for what is called as an interlace scanning into this. Then what is more important is that video bandwidth. Hopefully you now understand that what is the video bandwidth. That is the actually video requires to carry how much video bandwidth will, if any video is to be carried, and if you want to shoot this particular video, then what should be the minimum frequency or bandwidth that will be required to carry a video signal. If you talk about the television channel, you know that television channel bandwidth is 5 megahertz, right? So here, and apart from, if you go for vestigial sideband, then some of the other portion is just uh, cut, and somewhat about 5.5 megahertz bandwidth is transmitted along with your sound signals and sound carrier and video carrier, etc. But what is more important is that video bandwidth is actually the bandwidth which actually takes your video signal. Then what is a video bandwidth in case of monitor? So this bandwidth is calculated based on your horizontal pixel into vertical pixel into number of frames. That is how many frames are to be shown per second. So that will give you the video bandwidth. So obviously here, if a number of if your resolution increases or frame rate increases, the video bandwidth will be increased. Normally the VGA bandwidth is between 25 to 28 megahertz. Of course, this figure is calculated only for taking the resolution into account, that is 640 by 480. So this is called as a VGA, video bandwidth. Then again, video bandwidth is governed by the number of horizontal frequency, number of horizontal lines that are required to be scanned. So if you see number of horizontal lines to be scanned in TV, probably you require to have this something 480 into 600, that is 28,800 lines per second. So this is for VGA. If you really want to go for this, then 28 point kilohertz will take care of your scanning frequency. Or if you say, or what is horizontal frequency, instead of 15625, now it will come out to be 28.8 kilohertz. So this is relatively kept higher just to overcome the actual width, just to take care of over scanning, because you have to go extra bit length up, on your I will say margins. You have to cross the margin, you have to scan, then what is exactly the displayed area, you have to go beyond that particular. So to compensate that particular, so total horizontal frequency comes out to be, that is 31.5 kilohertz in case of monitors. And you know that in CCIV standard this is 15625, that is so there, that what this is nothing but what we call as number of lines into number of frames. The number of horizontal lines refresh rate, normally it is lines, it is 2 times. As I said, refresh rate can be 60, it can be 120, even it is goes to 244 also. That is it. There are certain monitors, if a refresh rate is more, obviously the same picture will be focused onto your eyes again and again, more number of times. So there will be more continuity, more clarity, and ultimately less flicker in the quality of the picture. So let us come to what exactly these horizontal timings are. So hopefully now I'm just trying to compare with the understanding that you know, you remember or you can recall what is composite video signal. Okay, if you say in composite video signal, during trace period only that video signal is available. During retrace period as well as back porch and front porch, there is no video signal. These are just a synchronization signals. Now what we have to see from this particular figure is that you have to understand is that how this is timings are generated in case of monitors. So here let's see, your pixel clock is 25 megahertz. Then obviously horizontal scan time that required will be 32 microseconds. If you have a pixel cross 25 megahertz, then horizontal scan time will be 32 microseconds. That means this is the time that will be required for taking a signals from one end to the another end. In CCRB, you know that there will be 64 microseconds are required actually for entire line. So here, as there are 2 frames per second, so obviously this rate is coming to be 32. Now, just for doing calculations purpose, let us see that here, if you find that, okay, I have just, I should have shown this first you, then vertical scanning. This is a, I'll show you first horizontal scanning. See, pixel class speed is 25 megahertz. Then after this, here pixel timing for per pixel, how much time is required to illuminate one pixel? That is just a 0.04 microseconds. So if you say horizontal video, it will be, let us say its resolution is 640 pixels. Then 640 into 0.04, so it will take 25.60 microsecond to cover one line. Then for backporch, it is 16 pixels long, so it will take 0.64 microsecond. Front porch, again it will require 0.64 microsecond, that is 16 pixel long. And the synchronizing pulse, it could be horizontal synchronizing or vertical synchronizing pulse. That synchronizing pulse will take up 128 pixels, so it will take 5.12 microseconds. So if you add all these pixels, total pixels come out to be 800 pixels, and if you multiply with 0.04 microseconds to each, so total it is coming to be what is called as the 32 microsecond, which is defined earlier. Okay, but for one horizontal video signal, that can be duration required is hardly 32 microseconds to show that particular line. So here entirely, how many, so there will be, how many lines are there? So there are 521 lines. Into, if you take 32 microsecond, that will give you the what we call as an uh, line frequency. That is the what we call as line frequency of your horizontal oscillator, and that horizontal line frequency will be, as number of 60 frames are shown per second, so that frequency will be 1 upon 60, it will be 60.67. Obviously all these calculations are related to your NTSC system, it is not related to PAL system. Then when we talk about this about say vertical, about vertical, again the same concept is there. Pixel class is 25 megahertz, horizontal scan time is 32 microseconds. Then vertical video required will be 480 pixels, that is number of pixels, instead of 640 now there are 480 pixels. Time required is 32 microseconds, so it will take 15.360. Similarly, back porch will take 29 pixel, front porch will 10 pixel into 30, and then synchronizing pulse will of only 2 pixels. So overall, all these times are added, then these times will give you what is called as an 16.672 millisecond. That means exactly it works a frequency of 1 upon 60, 16.67. So there is a relation between these two. So here what you need to understand is that what is what horizontal uh, okay, what is horizontal? I think in my, I am, I have not tested it as such here. There is a one below portion is cutting down. So actually it is giving you how many lines, active lines you required. Out of active lines, you require hardly 521 out of 625 lines. Okay, so here there are only 521 lines are active. So that is why if you time calculate, then it will be perfectly taken care of what is the horizontal oscillator frequency, vertical oscillator frequency. I am explaining all you, presuming that you know the operation of TV, you know the block diagram of TV, you know the what is the horizontal scanning frequency, what is vertical scanning frequency, what is horizontal oscillator, what is vertical oscillator, and then what are the synchronizing pulse, then vertical synchronized pulse, horizontal synchronizing pulse. At the same time, what is back porch and what is front porch, because all this is covered into a concept what is called as a composite video signal in case of TV. Let us come to now, with all this brief introduction, I don't think I need to explain you what is the CRT of construction, because probably you have either you have studied this in Electronic communication, or you also are studied in electronic measurement instrument? What is CRT construction? Just to continue with this, I can see that here in cathode ray tube construction, you can have a one electronic gun, that is cathode. That cathode, one signal is given to this cathode. Whatever the signal that is applied to the cathode, based on the intensity of the cathode, rest of the input signal, cathode generates the electrons. That electrons is emitted from the cathode, then that is accelerated by a grid, and what is called an high voltage is the towards anode, and that was sharp beam is formed. Then this beam, when beam is formed, this beam is required to move horizontally as well as vertically. To move this beam at a very fast rate, you have horizontal oscillator, horizontal magnetic horizontal cushions are there. Here what is shown is horizontal deflection plates are there that controls the movement of beam from left to right. Similarly, when is left to right is going on, similarly you also need to take that particular beam downwards, and that is it is effectively taken down by your vertical deflection plates. When it scans for almost half a number of lines, then at that time it reaches from top to bottom. Then once your one field is finished, automatically your odd field or even field starts based on your synchronous impulses. What is more important is that here this CRT requires a very high voltages. These high voltages is actually generated by horizontal section, that is called the extra high tension section or EST section, and that is generated the very high voltages. You probably know that about almost 10 to 12 kilohertz voltage are generated. For black and white TV, 5 kilohertz is sufficient, but for color monitors or color TV, that whole voltage required at the uh, this anode, it is almost tube, yeah, what we call as extra tension tube or EST tube. That inside a aqueduct coating is there of anode, and that voltage required is almost 12 to 15 kilohertz. And that is generated by this particular what we call as, that is generated by using this EST supply voltage. A very beam is accelerated with a very high intensity and high speed. When it bombards on your phosphorus coating, then that some of the electrons gets emitted, and if this emission falls into what we call as a visible region or visible frequency, then you will find that the certain colors are there, and that is why we use three diodes, that is a RGB diodes, and three phosphor dots. And with these three phosphor dots, you can get with this एक आवाज with three phosphor dots you can have a better illumination of this. Let us say now, okay, now here let's see, probably you also know this, the principle how actually you get the picture, how you get the different colors. So for that, the very concept is that instead of, if you want to have a colored images, you have to have a three electron guns, that is RGB guns. Then whatever be the picture, whatever the signal that is coming out, in the very first slide I show you that VGA gives you the three colors, RGB colors, that is the basic colors. These are the analog signals. These analog signals are directly applied to the three cathodes of three guns. Based on their intensity of this, it will generate the respective beam of either R red, green, or beam. Then that the beam is allowed to fall on one to what called as a metal mass or shadow mass. This shadow mass is of a typical type construction where it allows you, if this is properly fixed into your picture tube, then appropriate RGB beams coming out through this, and that if it goes directly to the through shadow mass, it is directly incident on the respective dots of RGB. And if there is a full, only R is full and R, G and B is absent, then in that case only R dot will glow and entire screen will you will find as a red. But if there is a certain combination of RGB based on their intensity of RGB color, then these three mixing of colors will be formed, and based on their combined effect, the respective color will be shown onto your screen. So this is what we say the operations of color CRT. Then the last topic that is also again I'll explain you how this see working of CRT monitor or working of CRT tube monitor or TV is almost very similar. Now if you see the left side of this, you will find there are different blocks. One is called as the card video, that is video card. Maybe you can say from this, these are the RGB signals coming out. So these RGB signals, actually you can say these are coming from out your VGA. VGA also has got horizontal sync and vertical sync as shown over here. Horizontal vertical sync is given to your block processor. That is nowadays in TV you will find there is its own processor, that is CPU. So it will check, it will give horizontal verticals, and from this it will generate the respective oscillating frequency, horizontal oscillator and vertical oscillator. It will also get this required voltages. In fact, 5 voltages are generated when you give 230 volt. This is a power supply. Again, this power supply is very similar to like what we call as the SMPS power supply of your uh, computers. So again, it is giving you the different voltages: 7 volt, 12 volt, 24 volts, 9 volts, and these 60 volts. These are the 5 volts are generated. These are regulated, and then finally it is applied to the respective electrodes. Mostly it is either focusing electrodes or anode electrodes, and then these are applied. Similarly, based on this vertical oscillator, you will have vertical oscillator output drive, horizontal output drive, where the signals are relatively large, and then from horizontal drive output you get horizontal output, and from this horizontal output very high voltages about some kilovolts, these are applied to your picture tube here. Then these are the controls: brightness, screen, and focusing controls, which are also taken outside. Most of these are nowadays, these are auto controls, which is controlled by your CPU. Then from this video card, whatever the input signal that is generated by VGA, this is normally in the range of zero point 0.2 volts, a very weak signal. But when it is given to your series of video amplifiers, from zero point 0.2 volts it becomes 40 volts. Then these 40 volt signals about through video output, these about 40 to 60 volts, these are given to respective RGB of your what we call as a picture tube. And then the later operation based on the intensity of RGB, you will find the corresponding pictures that will be displayed onto this. So this is all about what I can say. The block diagram, same block diagram is different, explaining from different way. The overall operation is the same. Whatever we study about TV or monitors, you'll find only thing is that in earlier in this TV, it is shown with the block diagrams, but now with the development of display technology and say LCD or LED TV, you'll find that even now CRT or almost CRT TVs are phased out now. But even now, this most of the function, instead of having individual components, built-in components, or some here what we sections, most of the section is now implemented using ICs. So though we say a lot of block diagrams in TV receiver, now those block diagrams are almost gone, and these are replaced with certain typical ICs, and that IC carries out the function of 4 to 5 blocks. So overall structure of or overall board of, if you see the TV board maybe somewhere in 90s, 95, and if you see the TV board of today, you will find this is very drastic difference. Though your size is very large, but the board required for your TV is very small. Though even if you talk about the board required for 32-inch TV or a 55-inch TV or a 43-inch TV, or for that matter more size of TV, the board basically remains the same. Microcontroller remains the same. Only thing is that your display, that is size of the display, changes, and accordingly the cost of that device is changing. So this is all about the idea that I wanted to give you before. In this display device lecture, I have decided to divide this lecture into 3 parts. One lecture I have already given today, and that is focusing on the different characteristics of display devices. Once you know the specification terms, then if you read certain specifications of any TV or a monitor, you will come to know what is aspect ratio, what is contrast ratio, or maybe what is the contrast, what is brightness, luminance, or maybe say the viewing angle. All these are the terms which you should know while selecting a very good monitor that you require. And most importantly, you have to know what is called as a resolution. So that terms I have explained you today. I also explained you what is the CRT monitor, which is being phased out now. Nowadays, nobody will use because there are lots of disadvantage of CRT. So in the next lecture, I will explain you what is LCD monitor, what is the principle of LCD monitor, how LCD monitor works, and then we'll compare the CRT monitor with the LCD monitor. And then in the third lecture, I will talk about the video cards and functioning and working of the video cards and how actually video signals are generated inside by using video cards and then given to the monitor. Hope you have understood now these basic concepts which I am assuming here in this lecture that you know the concept of TV. Based on this concept of TV, I am just trying to correlate the concept of TV with the monitor. So all this is all about the today's lecture. Tomorrow I'll again go for LC. Tomorrow I mean Monday at 11:30 our regular time. I'll start with the LCD monitor and the principle of LCD and how it works, and then we'll compare, as I said, between CRT monitor and LCD monitors. Okay, this is all about this. So I'll stop here. If you got any problems, you can ask me. So there are only 31 students. Why the attendance is less? Can you tell me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
हाँ मग अटेंडन्स
Yes,
थोडी
sir.
कमी काय आहे 31च मुलं आहेत आज. काल तरी 42-45 होते म्हणजे आपण ती एक ऑलमोस्ट एक महिन्यानंतर लेक्चर घेतल्यावरती 41-45 होते. आज 10 पोरं कुठे गेले? See, this attendance is going to be very crucial, as I said. तुमचे अटेंडन्स आणि तुमचे टेस्टचे मार्क या दोनच गोष्टी आहे माझ्याकडं की ज्याच्यावरनं मी तुम्हाला टर्मवरचे मार्क देणार आहे. सो अगेन जे आहे त्यांना तर माहितीच आहे, जे नसतील माहिती त्यांना जरा थोडं सांगा आणि आज देम दॅट दे टू बी म्हणजे आपलं जे लेक्चर आपले विद्यार्थी जवळजवळ एनरोल्ड विद्यार्थी हे 82-83च्या आसपास आहेत आणि 82-83 मधले जर लेक्चर घ्यायचे तर कमीत कमी 60-65 विद्यार्थी ऍटलिस्ट 80 पैकी ते 70 असायला हवे, पण ऍटलिस्ट कमीत 60-65 तरी विद्यार्थी असायला हवे. कारण जेव्हा परीक्षा घ्यायची वेळ येते तेव्हा सगळेच परीक्षा ऑनलाईन देऊ शकतात. आता मी मागच्या 4-5 दिवसापासून अनुभवतोय की कोणताही विद्यार्थी असा नाहीये की तो परीक्षे वाचून वंचित आहे. म्हणजे असं नाहीये